WWE SmackDown Results January 21, 2022. Tonight's WWE SmackDown on Fox opens up with a video package looking at recent happenings between Seth Rollins and WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns. We also see SmackDown Tag Team Champions the Usos attacking Rollins on Raw. We're live from the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee as Michael Cole welcomes us to SmackDown. He's joined at ringside by Pat McAfee. We go right to the ring and SmackDown Tag Team Champions the Usos are already out, Jimmy Uso and G Uso. They say they are here for reason only, to acknowledge the longest reigning WWE Universal Champion, who has been champion for 508 days. They say there have been a few big names to hold the Universal title but not that long, not Kevin Owens, not Seth Rollins, not current WWE Champion Brock Lesnar, but there is one, the head of the table, the Tribal Chief. They go on with the grand introduction for their cousin, Roman Reigns. The music hits and out comes Reigns to a loud reaction. Reigns stops on the way to the ring and raises the strap in the air as pyro goes off. He hits the ring to more pyro as fans boo and cheer. Reigns takes the mic and tells Nashville to acknowledge him. The Usos put him over and send us to a video package begins with Reigns winning the Universal title at WWE Payback 2020. The video includes more footage from Reigns' 508-day reign. Reigns is all smiles as we come back from the video. Before he can speak, the music interrupts and out comes Rollins to another mixed reaction. Rollins asks what kind of party would this be without him. He gives them props for the video package and congratulates Reigns. Rollins says we should celebrate the fact that a title reign will be ending soon, and for Reigns making a man out of him last week. Rollins goes on about how Reigns took what he said literally, and sent his cousins to Raw to speak for him. Rollins goes on and says we should be celebrating the longest reigning SmackDown Tag Team Champions the Usos. Rollins says the Usos are the cornerstone of Reigns' success, and all of this wouldn't be possible if Reigns didn't have them. Rollins tries to get a chant going for the Usos. Reigns says Rollins comes out here and makes the same excuses. He wonders if John Cena wrote that promo because he's saying the same thing. Reigns promises their Royal Rumble match will be one-on-one and he will win. Rollins tells Reigns to put his money where his mouth is. Rollins offers to find a partner to face the Usos and if they win, the Usos will be banned from ringside at the Rumble. The Usos agree and say we've got a main event. The Usos say Rollins is crazy, and he won't be able to find anyone in the back to deal with him so they're good. Rollins says they have a point but, the music interrupts and out comes Owens. Owens joins Rollins on the stage. Reigns calls for this stupid music to be cut. He says nothing is official until the Tribal Chief approves. Reigns says when Rollins loses tonight, that means he will also lose his Royal Rumble title shot and then Reigns is going on vacation until WrestleMania 38. Reigns asks if they have a deal. Rollins thinks it over and finally accepts the challenge. Rollins' music starts up as the Bloodline looks on. We go to commercial. Kofi Kingston vs Madcap Moss back from the break and Madcap Moss is in the ring with Happy Baron Corbin. They brag about being on a roll of momentum as of late, taking out Drew McIntyre and The New Day. The music interrupts and out comes Kofi Kingston to a pop. Kingston stops on the entranceway and introduces Big E, who comes out to a pop. Big E and Corbin watch from ringside as Kofi and Moss go at it. Moss levels Kofi with a shoulder. Kofi comes back and drops Moss, then nails a big right hand. Kofi with the boom drop in the middle of the ring as Big E cheers him on. Kofi waits for trouble in paradise as fans chant for The New Day. Corbin provides a distraction from the apron, allowing Moss to deck Kofi from behind. Moss works Kofi over and tosses him to the floor. Moss follows and sends Kofi into the steel ring steps but he leaps over them, and flies back at Moss to drop him at ringside. Big E follows up and takes out Corbin on the floor. We go to commercial with The New Day celebrating in front of the announce table. Moss with more offense in the ring after the break now. Moss catches Kofi with a big spinebuster. Moss stomps away in the corner now. Moss charges but hits the turnbuckles as Kofi moves. Kofi rallies and mounts offense now, nailing a big dropkick. Moss cuts him off but Kofi hits a Hurricane Rana out of the corner for a close 2 count. Kofi with more offense until Moss spikes him out of the air, driving him into the mat for a close 2 count. Moss goes for a razor's edge but Kofi slides out to his feet, then levels Moss with a jumping kick to the face out of nowhere. Kofi covers for the pin to win. Winner, Kofi Kingston. After the match, Big E joins Kofi to celebrate as the music hits and we get replays. Corbin acts like he wants to come in and Big E tells him to jump if he feels froggy. Corbin decides against coming in as Moss gets back to his feet. Big E drops Moss with a big ending in the middle of the ring as Corbin looks on from the floor. The New Day dances to celebrate. Cole sends us to a Progressive sponsored match flow video looking at how Aliyah won her Blue Brand singles in-ring debut over Natalya last week, setting a new record for the fastest win ever at 3.17 seconds. Aliyah vs Natalya. We go back to the ring and out comes Aliyah for a rematch of last week's in-ring debut. She hits the ring and poses in the corner as we go back to commercial. Back from the break and country music singer Jimmy Allen is shown at ringside. Natalya wraps her entrance now. Summer Rae is shown in the front row now, and is introduced as a WWE legend from Nashville. She gets a pop and her Royal Rumble return is promoted. The bell rings and Aliyah rolls Natalya up for a quick 2 count. Natalya takes it to the corner and talks some trash, working Aliyah over. Natalya drops her for a 2 count. Natalya with more trash talking. Aliyah counters with a quick roll-up. More back and forth between the two. Aliyah fights back from the apron and goes to the top, nailing a Hurricane Rana takedown. Aliyah runs into a big discus clothesline. Natalya with more offense and trash talking now. Aliyah counters for another roll-up for 2. Natalya rocks her and stomps away as the referee warns her. Natalya goes on and keeps Aliyah down, then stomps away again as the referee warns her. Natalya keeps stomping and the referee calls the match. Winner by DQ, Aliyah. After the bell, Samantha Irvin announces Aliyah as the winner and Natalya seethes some more. Natalya stomps away until the music interrupts and out comes Ciali, the protector. Natalya looks a bit nervous as Lee hits the ring. Natalya goes to attack but Lee strikes her and knocks her out of the ring. Lee checks on Aliyah as a shocked Natalya looks on from ringside. Natalya backs up the ramp as Lee and Aliyah stand together in the ring. Los Lotherios vs. the Viking Raiders. We go back to the ring and out comes Los Lotherios, Angel and Humberto. Back to commercial. Back from the break and Los Lotherios look on as number 1 contenders. The Viking Raiders hit the ring, Eric and Ivar. We see how the Vikings won a fatal 4-way last week to become the new number 1 contenders to SmackDown Tag Team Champions the Usos for a future title shot. The match begins and Ivar starts off with Humberto but Eric comes in for the double team. Angel tags in and they double team Eric now. Los Lotherios with another quick tag and double team offense on Eric. Humberto with a 2 count. Humberto goes for a moonsault in the middle of the ring but Eric counters and levels him with a knee to the face. Ivar and Angel tag in now. Ivar unloads and hits a crossbody. Humberto runs in but Ivar nails a big spin kick to the mouth. Angel blocks Ivar from the corner and covers for a close 2 count. Ivar is double teamed but Eric tags in and they hit a big combination spinebuster and world's strongest slam to Los Lotherios. Humberto then takes the Viking experience in the middle of the ring for the pin to win. Winners, the Viking Raiders. After the match, Eric and Ivar stand tall and celebrate as the music hits. We go to replays. We see what happened between Naomi and Sonya Deville last week with Adam Pearce granting a championship contenders match to Naomi. Championship contenders match, SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair vs Naomi. We go back to the ring and out comes Naomi to a pop for this non-title championship contenders match, with a future title shot up for grabs. Naomi hits the ring and we go back to commercial. Back from the break and out comes SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. Before the match can begin, Sonya Deville comes out and enters the ring. Deville dismisses the referee and pulls out her own referee shirt. Deville will now be the special guest referee for this match. The bell rings and Flair decks Naomi with a cheap shot right hand to booze. Flair stomps away in the corner as Deville looks on. Flair keeps control and taunts Naomi and the crowd. Flair keeps Naomi grounded with the head scissors. Flair launches Naomi across the ring with the scissors, then stands tall and poses while talking trash. Flair takes her time with Naomi and delivers big chops in the corner. Naomi tries to kick Flair away but it's blocked. Naomi connects with a kick to the head. Flair blocks a Hurricane Rana and applies a Boston Crab in the middle of the ring. Naomi crawls to the bottom rope but Flair pulls her back. Naomi breaks free and they tangle. Deville gets knocked over the top rope to the floor by accident as Flair is sent into her. Naomi ends up pinning Flair but Deville acts like she doesn't see it while recovering at ringside. Naomi yells at Deville but Flair comes behind with a chop block to take her leg out. Flair applies the figure 4 and bridges into the figure 8 for the submission win. Winner, Charlotte Flair. After the match, Flair keeps the submission applied as Deville looks on and smiles. Flair makes her exit as the music hits. Deville kneels down and talks some trash to Naomi as she sells the hurt leg. Deville laughs as she makes her exit. Kayla Braxton is backstage with Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. They talk about the high stakes for tonight's tag team main event and Owens is all about fighting for his friend. Owens says he would be the longest reigning Universal Champion if it weren't for the Usos, and the Usos doing what they are trying to do to Rollins tears him up inside. Rollins says the stakes are high but worth the reward. Rollins goes on and says he knows he can beat Roman Reigns one-on-one. We go back to the ring and out comes Sami Zayn. Cole says Zayn has promised to outdo the prank that originally made Jackass star Johnny Knoxville famous. Zayn hits the ring and poses in the corner as we go back to commercial. Back from the break and celebrity WWE Hall of Famer Kid Rock is shown at ringside watching the show. We go back to the ring for another insane stunt segment with Sami. Sami has several self-defense items on a table and says he will be using them on himself to prove that anything Knoxville can do, Sami can do better. He has a livestock stun gun first, with 3 levels. Sami shocks his leg with the first level of voltage and it surprises him. Fans boo. The second level really shocks him. The music interrupts and out comes Knoxville to a pop. Fans chant his name as he hits the ring. Knoxville says Sami was so worried about Knoxville making a mockery of his profession, he's doing the same to his now. Knoxville says he's been around these weapons and something doesn't seem right. Knoxville reveals that Sami forgot to turn the stunner on. Sami says it was on, but it was turned off just now. Knoxville turns it on and shocks Sami, sending him to the mat. Knoxville helps Sami up and leans him against the ropes. Knoxville says Sami is a good guy, and he will see him at the Royal Rumble. Knoxville dumps Sami over the top rope to the floor, then celebrates and makes his exit as the Jackass music plays. We go backstage and WWE Hall of Famer Eric Bischoff is with Adam Pearce in his office. Bischoff is talking to Pearce about being a leader when Sonya Deville walks in. Pearce introduces them. Pearce says what happened just now with Naomi was a case of Deville going over the line and stepping over her bounds. He says he talked it over with Bischoff and they believe the feud with Naomi is affecting Deville's leadership abilities. Pearce says he's going to suggest to WWE officials that Deville vs Naomi happens next Friday night. Deville says okay, and for Pearce to let her know what officials say. Deville walks off. Bischoff says now that was leadership. Pearce thanks him. Sheamus vs Ricochet. We go back to the ring and out comes Sheamus with Ridge Holland. Back to commercial. Back from the break and the announcers show us the new trailer for the WWE 2K22 video game. We go back to the ring and Ricochet is wrapping up his entrance. This is a rematch from last week's show, which saw Sheamus get the win. Holland is back at ringside after being injured by Ricochet and Cesaro in the tag team match at WWE Day 1. The bell rings and Sheamus goes to work on Ricochet as Holland cheers him on. Ricochet fights back with chops and right hands. Sheamus catches him with the Irish Curse backbreaker in the middle of the ring. Sheamus delivers elbow strikes to keep Ricochet down now. Sheamus ragdolls Ricochet with a headlock. Ricochet fights up and out, nailing a jawbreaker to stun Sheamus. Ricochet counters and runs up Sheamus with a kick, then nails an enziguri. Ricochet continues but Sheamus catches him with another backbreaker. Sheamus shows off to boos. Sheamus delivers 10 beats of the Bowden now. Sheamus sends Ricochet back into the ring from the apron. Ricochet counters and kicks Sheamus away, then sends him to the apron. Ricochet kicks Sheamus off to the apron to the floor now. Ricochet runs the ropes for a suicide dive but Sheamus knocks him out of the air with a huge kick. Sheamus brings Ricochet back into the ring and keeps control. Sheamus readies for the brogue kick now. Ricochet slowly gets up and Sheamus puts him right back down with the brogue. Sheamus covers for the pin to win. Winner, Sheamus. After the match, Sheamus stands tall as the music hits. Holland joins him in the ring and raises his arm. We see the Bloodline backstage talking in their locker room suite. Back to commercial. Back from the break and Rick Boogs is walking with WWE Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. They walk up on WWE Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett. He gives props for the guitar work, and Boogs does his Rick Boogs intro, which Jarrett also liked. SmackDown Tag Team Champions the Usos vs Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. We go back to the ring for tonight's non-title main event as SmackDown Tag Team Champions the Usos hit the ring, Jimmy Uso and G Uso. Out next come Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. If Rollins and Owens win, the Usos will be banned from ringside during Rollins vs WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. If the Usos win tonight, Rollins must forfeit his title match at the Rumble. Rollins and Owens enter the ring, taunting the Usos as they look on. The two teams face off and have words as we go back to commercial. Rollins and Jimmy start the match off after the break. They tangle and trade pin attempts. We see Reigns watching the match from backstage. The Usos make a tag and unload with stomps to Rollins in the corner now. The quick tags and stomps continue as the referee warns them. Rollins backs Jimmy into the opposite corner, beating him down. Owens tags in and goes to work on Jimmy. Rollins quickly tags in and stomps away on Jimmy to keep him down. Rollins slams Jimmy and goes to the top. G distracts the referee, allowing Jimmy to knock Rollins from the top to the mat. Jimmy takes Rollins to the corner and in comes G off the tag. G runs and leaps at Rollins with a forearm while Jimmy holds him. G talks some trash and keeps Rollins down. Jimmy tags back in and rocks Rollins while G holds him. Jimmy drops Rollins in another corner and stomps away until the referee stops him. Rollins explodes out of the corner and takes him down. Owens and G tag in at the same time. Owens unloads and nails a senton. Owens knocks Jimmy off the apron. Owens throws a crotch chop and then hits a corner cannonball to G. Owens goes to the top but he has to stop and kick Jimmy off the apron as he charges. Owens goes back up and hits the big senton but G gets his knees up and Owens lands hard. Owens is super kicked out of the ring. Jimmy runs over and super kicks Owens while he's dazed at ringside. The Usos stand tall and raise their fingers in the air as we go back to commercial. Back from the break and Rollins is trying to rally from the apron. G tags in and knocks Rollins off the apron. G dags Owens to their corner and stomps away. Rollins runs in but the referee stops him. We see Reigns watching backstage again. Owens chops G out of the corner but G kicks him down. Jimmy tags back in to keep Owens down in their corner. Jimmy mounts Owens with lefts and rights while down in the corner. Owens catches a kick, ducks an enziguri, and drops Uso with an enziguri of his own. Rollins finally tags in as does G. Rollins with a sling blade and a big gut buster in the middle of the ring. Rollins clotheslines G to the floor. Jimmy attacks but Rollins also sends Shim to the floor. Rollins runs the ring and nails a suicide dive on both of the Usos. Fans pop for Rollins as he celebrates the dive. Rollins springboards back in and nails a knee to the face of G. G kicks out at 2. G and Rollins tangle now. G with a big neck breaker for a close 2 count. G waits in the corner for Rollins to get up now. Rollins catches a superkick, rocks G, and goes for a buckle bomb, but it's blocked as G slides out and Jimmy is now legal. They catch Rollins with a pop-up Samoan drop, but Rollins kicks out just in time. Jimmy rocks Owens off the apron with a cheap shot. Jimmy leaps off the top, but Rollins goes under him. Rollins drops Jimmy and then G with an enziguri. Owens, legal now, with a pop-up powerbomb to Jimmy for a close 2 count. Owens goes to the top, but Jimmy cuts him off with a right hand. Jimmy kicks Owens and stuns him up top. Jimmy climbs up for a superplex, but Owens counters and turns it into a super inverted fisherman's buster from the top. Owens drags himself over for the pin, but G breaks it just in time. Rollins tags in and rocks G in the corner, then unloads on Jimmy with knees to the head. G super kicks Rollins down. G blocks a stunner from Owens. Owens blocks a kick and drops G with a stunner. Jimmy super kicks Owens. Rollins super kicks Jimmy. Rollins rocks Jimmy with the right hand and clubs him in the back of the neck with a forearm. Fans chant for Rollins as he waits in the corner now. Rollins goes for the stomp to Jimmy and hits it, but Reigns rushes the ring out of nowhere, dropping Rollins with a Superman punch. The referee calls the match. Winners by DQ, Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. After the match, Reigns exits the ring to boos. Owens and Rollins are announced as the winners by disqualification. Cole confirms that the Usos will be banned from ringside at the Royal Rumble. Rollins' music starts up as he looks on and smiles. Reigns heads to the ramp and seethes as SmackDown goes off the air.